What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we've had a lot of wet death here in Ohio, and it doesn't seem to be letting up. But this project needs to keep going, so I am going to temporarily use my camper as a workshop, and we're going to tackle some of the wiring in there and also get started on the transmission lane back there. So my future plans with this thing is to get a Holley Terminator ECM and the Holley wiring harness, but that's a little bit out of the budget for right now, and I just want to get this thing up and going again. So what I'm going to do is the wiring harness that I took out of the truck, the ignition switch and all that stuff, I'm going to build just a standalone harness that will eventually go on the engine test stand. But for now, we're going to use it to power up Ego. So in this video, we'll be wiring all that up. Alright guys, so we're here in the camper where we're going to work on our wiring harness. The first thing we're going to do is, this is the stock harness off the V6 with the V6 ECM. We do need part of this wiring that goes from the body control module to the passenger side fender well, where there's 3 plug-ins. It's going to be these 3 plugs right here. This is to control our headlights and other accessories in the front. So the first thing we're going to do is separate this from the rest of the harness. And there we have it. I went ahead and disconnected the ECM from the wiring harness because there are some wires that we're going to have to unpin that go into the ECM. I'm not sure yet if we are even going to need those wires. I'm thinking probably not, because some of them have to do with the body control module allowing the coils and fuel injectors to fire on the V6, so we won't be needing those. The only wires that I'm really after right now are these plugs right here, so we're going to probably focus on those first, see if we can get that part of the wiring harness unattached, and then I'll look up to see what the other wires are going to. We've got some wire from these body control module plugs going into the main engine wiring harness itself. Again, those we probably won't reuse. Alright guys, so I just wanted to correct something. I thought that these 2 plugs go to the body control module, but they do not. There are 2 plugs on the passenger side underneath the kick panel that these plug into. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on these 2 first. I started tracing the wires and they go to the PCM power control module. So I will start unpinning those first. I'm not sure if we even need these wires or not. I'm still trying to find the schematics to figure out what these plugs are even for. So bear with me and we will get that information. Alright, so what I'm doing is I'm starting here at the end of the wire loom, and I'm just figuring out one wire at a time. Your green and brown wires that come out of the wire loom that goes into the passenger side and into the kick panel, these run to this plug right here. I'm still trying to figure out what that's for. At the end of the video, we'll do a complete layout, and I'll tell you what wires go to what. But there's that disconnected, and we will just keep going down the line and freeing each of these wires up from this little nest we have here. Alright guys, so I got all the plugs that I needed to get unplugged or undone from the wiring harness undone. These 2 plugs right here wired into the V6 powertrain control module, so I don't know that we'll be reusing those or not. I'm still looking for the wiring schematics for everything. And then here is the blue and white connector that go underneath the, under the passenger side kick panel. We've got all that wiring harness undone. A lot of these also went to the BCM, but there's other wires like this wire right here. I'm sure we'll be reusing that one. This pigtail right here. This pigtail right here. And a lot of these wires I doubt that we'll be reusing. Again, I'll know once we get all the wiring schematics and diagram. Alright guys, so it's a couple weeks later and I'm finally getting back on the car. And we've got the all the wiring that we're going to need from the V6 harness plugged back in. A lot of us ran back into the car. So on the next video, we are going to be merging these wires to the truck harness and completing our harness again. Some of these wires we may not need. If not, I'll depend them and clean them up. But other than that, it's probably a whole hell of a lot easier to just buy a standalone harness. But you're still going to need to do some of this stuff even with the standalone if you want all your gauges and stuff to work. So in the next video, we'll be tackling this wiring, and God, what a mess. I'll see you guys next time.